You're tired of living in a constant state of fear and worry. You're exhausted from the racing heart, the shallow breathing, the muscle tension that never seems to go away. You've tried everything your doctors have suggested: therapy, medications, lifestyle changes, meditation apps, breathing exercises, yoga classes. Some things provide temporary relief, but the anxiety always comes back, often stronger and more persistent than before. You start to wonder if this is just your reality now, if anxiety is something you'll have to manage for the rest of your life rather than something you can actually overcome. You watch other people move through the world with apparent ease and confidence, and you can't remember the last time you felt truly calm or at peace in your own body. Every day feels like a battle against your own nervous system, and you're losing. The worst part is that you know logically that most of your fears are irrational, but that knowledge doesn't seem to make any difference. Your body continues to react as if you're in constant danger, no matter how safe your environment actually is. What if I told you that your anxiety isn't a mental disorder that requires lifelong management, but a nervous system dysfunction that can be directly addressed and potentially resolved? What if the persistent fear and worry you experience are actually symptoms of a specific physiological problem with a nerve that most people have never heard of? What if there's a technique so powerful and so fundamental to anxiety recovery? Every person struggling with anxiety absolutely must learn it, and once mastered, it can provide relief faster and more effectively than any medication or therapy approach you've tried. This is the reality of the vagus nerve reset, a revolutionary approach to anxiety that targets the root physiological cause rather than just managing symptoms. Your anxiety isn't happening to you randomly or because you're mentally weak. It's happening because your vagus nerve, a master controller of your parasympathetic nervous system, has become suppressed, damaged, or severely dysfunctional, leaving you trapped in chronic states of fight or flight activation with no access to your body's natural calming mechanisms. Understanding why the vagus nerve reset is absolutely essential for anyone with anxiety requires understanding what anxiety actually is at the physiological level. Anxiety isn't just worried thoughts or nervous feelings. It's a complete nervous system state characterized by specific patterns of brain activity, hormone release, muscle tension, breathing dysfunction, cardiovascular changes, and digestive disruption. When you're anxious, your entire body is preparing for immediate physical danger, even when there's no actual threat present. This preparation for danger is orchestrated by your sympathetic nervous system, which activates instantly when your brain perceives threat. Your heart rate increases. Your breathing becomes rapid and shallow. Stress hormones flood your system. Blood flow is redirected away from non-essential functions toward your muscles, and your senses become hyper-alert. This is a brilliant survival mechanism that can literally save your life when you're facing genuine physical danger. But anxiety disorders occur when this system becomes chronically activated, responding to perceived threats that aren't actually dangerous. Your brain's threat detection system becomes hypersensitive, interpreting normal life situations as emergencies. The key issue is that once your sympathetic nervous system activates, it can only be deactivated by your parasympathetic nervous system, which is controlled primarily by your vagus nerve. When your vagus nerve is functioning properly, it acts like a biological brake pedal, quickly down-regulating fight or flight responses once threats pass. It sends safety signals throughout your body, telling your heart to slow down, your breathing to deepen, your muscles to relax, and your mind to stop scanning for danger. Without adequate vagal function, you become trapped in anxiety states because your body literally doesn't know how to turn off the alarm response. This is why traditional anxiety treatments often provide incomplete relief. Cognitive behavioral therapy can help you understand that your thoughts are rational, but it doesn't address the underlying nervous system dysfunction that's generating the physical symptoms. Anti-anxiety medications can temporarily suppress the symptoms, but they don't restore healthy vagal function. So the anxiety typically returns when the medication wears off or is discontinued. The vagus nerve reset is different because it directly targets the physiological mechanism that controls anxiety states. When you learn to consciously activate your vagus nerve, you gain access to your body's own natural anti-anxiety system. This isn't just relaxation or stress management. This is direct intervention in the biological processes that create and maintain anxiety disorders. The complete vagus nerve reset protocol involves 5 integrated components that work together to maximize vagal activation and create rapid anxiety relief. Each component targets different aspects of vagal function, and when combined, they create synergistic effects that are far more powerful than any single technique alone. The 5 components are specialized breathing, cold exposure, vocalization, gentle movement, and social engagement cues. The breathing component forms the foundation of the vagus nerve reset because your respiratory system has the most direct and immediate connection to your vagus nerve. The specific technique involves what neuroscientists call the physiological sigh, followed by extended exhale breathing. Begin by taking a normal inhale through your nose, then add a second, smaller inhale on top of the first one. This double inhale maximizes the reinflation of collapsed alveoli in your lungs, optimizing oxygen exchange and creating optimal conditions for vagal activation. After the double inhale, exhale very slowly through slightly pursed lips while making a soft ah sound, extending the exhale to last 8 to 12 seconds. The extended exhale is crucial because it directly stimulates your vagus nerve through respiratory sinus arrhythmia, the natural slowing of your heart rate that occurs. During exhalation, the vocalization adds additional vagal stimulation through the vibration in your throat and chest. Repeat this breathing pattern 5 to 10 times, focusing on making each exhale longer and more complete than the last. As you practice, you should notice your heart rate slowing, your shoulders dropping, and a sense of calm beginning to spread through your body. This breathing technique alone can begin to shift your nervous system out of anxiety states within 1 to 2 minutes. The cold exposure component leverages the dive response, an ancient physiological mechanism that immediately activates your parasympathetic nervous system. Fill a sink or bowl with cold water, then immerse your face from the temples to the upper lip for 15 to 30 seconds while holding your breath. The cold water stimulates the trigeminal nerve in your face, which has direct connections to your vagus nerve, triggering immediate parasympathetic activation. If full face immersion isn't practical, you can achieve similar effects by placing a cold, wet cloth over your eyes and upper cheeks, holding ice cubes against your temples, or even drinking very cold water while applying cold to your wrists. The key is activating cold receptors in areas where the trigeminal nerve has significant innervation. This cold exposure should be done immediately after the breathing component to build on the vagal activation you've already created. The vocalization component provides direct stimulation to your vagus nerve through the muscles of your throat, larynx, and vocal cords. After completing the cold exposure, spend 60 to 90 seconds humming, singing, or doing vocal toning exercises. The vibration created by vocalization stimulates vagal pathways while also helping to discharge trapped emotional energy that often accompanies anxiety. You can hum your favorite song, do simple Om chanting, or create whatever vocal sounds feel natural and soothing. The key is creating vibration that you can feel in your throat and chest. Some people find that lower tones work better for them, while others prefer higher pitches. Experiment to find what creates the most calming effect for your individual nervous system. The gentle movement component helps discharge the physical energy that anxiety creates while providing additional vagal stimulation through movement of your neck and spine. Begin with slow, gentle neck rolls, turning your head slowly from side to side, then forward and back. Follow this with gentle spinal movements, reaching your arms overhead and then letting them fall naturally to your sides. Gentle twisting, motions, or simple walking in place. The movement should feel soothing rather than stimulating. Many people with anxiety have forgotten what it feels like to move their bodies in ways that feel good rather than effortful or demanding. This component of the vagus nerve reset helps reconnect you with the pleasure of gentle, nurturing movement, while providing nervous system regulation through vagal stimulation. The social engagement component might seem unusual in an anxiety protocol, but it's actually crucial because anxiety often involves a breakdown in your nervous system's ability to feel safe in social connection. Even when you're alone, you can activate the social engagement aspects of your vagus nerve by looking at photos of loved ones, calling someone who makes you feel safe, or even imagining being held or comforted by someone you trust. Engagement system is controlled by the ventral branch of your vagus nerve, which is the most evolved and sophisticated part of your nervous system. When this system is active, you feel calm, connected, curious, and capable of handling challenges from a place of grounded confidence rather than anxious reactivity. Activating this system, even through imagination or virtual connection, can provide profound anxiety relief. The complete vagus nerve reset protocol should take between 5 and 10 minutes to complete all 5 components. However, you can also use individual components as needed throughout the day for quick anxiety relief. The breathing technique can be done anywhere, anytime you notice anxiety building. The cold exposure can provide immediate relief during panic attacks. The vocalization can help discharge anxiety energy, and the movement can address the physical tension that anxiety creates. But understanding why this protocol is so essential for anxiety recovery requires understanding the progressive nature of vagal dysfunction. Anxiety typically doesn't develop overnight. It builds gradually as your vagus nerve becomes increasingly suppressed by chronic stress, trauma, inflammation, or other factors. As vagal function declines, your window of tolerance for stress becomes narrower, meaning you become anxious in response to smaller and smaller triggers. Without intervention to restore vagal function, this process tends to worsen over time. Your nervous system becomes increasingly sensitive and reactive. Your baseline anxiety levels gradually increase, and you find yourself using more and more energy just to get through normal daily activities. This is why many people notice that their anxiety gets worse over time, even when their life circumstances remain stable or even improve. The vagus nerve reset interrupts this progressive decline by directly strengthening your nervous system's regulatory capacity. Each time you practice the protocol, you're essentially giving your vagus nerve a workout, strengthening its ability to activate calming responses and regulate your nervous system state. Over time, this practice can reverse the decline in vagal function and restore your nervous system's natural resilience. The immediate effects of the vagus nerve reset are often dramatic and noticeable within minutes of completing the protocol. Your heart rate slows and becomes more variable, indicating healthier nervous system function. Your breathing naturally deepens and slows. Muscle tension releases throughout your body. Your mind becomes clearer and calmer. The physical symptoms of anxiety, the racing heart, shallow breathing, muscle tension, and sense of dread, begin to resolve as your nervous system shifts into parasympathetic dominance. But the long-term effects are even more significant. Regular practice of the vagus nerve reset can fundamentally change your nervous system's baseline functioning. Many people notice that after several weeks of consistent practice, they feel calmer overall, react less intensely to stressors, recover more quickly from anxiety episodes, and have access to positive emotional states that they may not have experienced for years. The trauma-informed aspects of the vagus nerve reset are particularly important because anxiety often has roots in past experiences that have dysregulated the nervous system. Trauma can suppress vagal function and create patterns of chronic hypervigilance that manifest as anxiety disorders. The gentle, self-paced nature of the vagus nerve reset makes it accessible even for people with trauma histories who might find other approaches triggering or overwhelming. Starting slowly and building tolerance gradually is crucial, especially for people whose anxiety has trauma components. You might begin by practicing just the breathing component for a few days before adding the other elements. Or you might do abbreviated versions of the protocol until your nervous system becomes more comfortable with the sensations of relaxation and regulation. Some people initially find that the vagus nerve reset increases their anxiety temporarily because their nervous systems have learned to interpret relaxation as dangerous. This is a common trauma response, and it's important to proceed gently if this occurs. Working with trauma-informed practitioners can be helpful for navigating these initial challenges while building your capacity for self-regulation. The workplace applications of the vagus nerve reset are crucial because work environments often trigger and maintain anxiety through chronic stress, interpersonal conflicts, and performance pressures. You can use abbreviated versions of the protocol between meetings, before presentations, after difficult conversations, or whenever you notice anxiety building during the workday. The discrete nature of many components makes them suitable for professional environments. The breathing can be done during meetings without anyone noticing. Cold exposure can be achieved by drinking cold water or touching cold surfaces. Gentle movement can appear to be simple stretching. Even brief humming in a bathroom or private office can provide significant anxiety relief. The sleep applications are particularly important because anxiety often intensifies at bedtime when external distractions decrease and your mind turns inward. Practicing the complete vagus nerve reset as part of your bedtime routine can help shift your nervous system into the parasympathetic states necessary for quality sleep. Many people find that this practice eliminates the racing thoughts and physical restlessness that often prevent sleep onset. The social relationship benefits extend beyond just managing social anxiety. When your vagus nerve is functioning optimally, you're more capable of genuine connection, empathy, and emotional attunement with others. Anxiety often makes social interactions feel effortful and draining, but vagal regulation can restore your capacity for nourishing, energizing social connections. This is particularly important for parents, as children naturally attune to their caregiver's nervous system states. When you can effectively regulate your own anxiety through vagal activation, you create a calmer, safer environment for your children while modeling healthy stress management. Teaching children age-appropriate versions of these techniques can give them lifelong tools for managing their own anxiety and emotional regulation. The physical health implications of anxiety are significant and often overlooked in treatment. Approaches that focus only on psychological symptoms. Chronic anxiety maintains elevated stress hormones, suppresses immune function, disrupts digestive processes, and contributes to inflammation throughout the body. By directly addressing the nervous system dysfunction underlying anxiety, the vagus nerve reset can have profound effects on overall physical health. Many people notice improvements in digestive function, sleep quality, immune resilience, and energy levels as their vagal tone improves. This makes sense because the vagus nerve coordinates so many essential physiological processes. When it's functioning optimally, your entire body operates more efficiently and harmoniously. The relationship between anxiety and chronic illness is particularly relevant here. Many chronic health conditions involve inflammation and nervous system dysfunction that can both contribute to and result from anxiety. The vagus nerve reset addresses these underlying physiological dysfunctions, potentially providing benefits that extend far beyond anxiety relief. The prevention aspects of regular vagus nerve reset practice are as important as its therapeutic applications. Building strong vagal tone through consistent practice creates resilience that helps prevent anxiety from developing or recurring. This is particularly important for people with family histories of anxiety or those who have experienced trauma that might predispose them to anxiety disorders. Think of regular vagal activation practice as insurance for your nervous system. Just as physical exercise builds cardiovascular resilience that protects against heart disease, vagal exercise builds nervous system resilience that protects against anxiety and other stress-related disorders. The practice becomes an investment in your long-term mental and physical health. The integration with other treatment approaches can enhance overall effectiveness while potentially reducing dependence on medications or other interventions. Many people find that the vagus nerve reset makes therapy more effective by creating the nervous system stability necessary for processing difficult emotions and experiences. Others discover that they need lower doses of anti-anxiety medications as their natural regulatory capacity improves. The personalization aspects are important because individual nervous systems respond differently to various forms of vagal stimulation. Some people respond more strongly to breathing techniques, others to cold exposure, and others to vocalization or movement. Experimenting with different components and finding what works best for your particular system is part of developing an effective personal practice. You can also modify the timing and intensity based on your needs and circumstances. During acute anxiety episodes, you might focus on the breathing and cold exposure components for immediate relief. For general maintenance and prevention, you might practice the complete protocol once or twice daily. During particularly stressful periods, you might increase the frequency or duration of your practice. The scientific validation for vagal activation and anxiety treatment continues to grow, with studies showing measurable changes in heart rate variability, stress hormone levels, inflammatory markers, and brain activity following vagal stimulation practices. This isn't just subjective improvement. There are objective, physiological changes that occur when you successfully activate your vagus nerve. Heart rate variability monitoring can provide real-time feedback about the effectiveness of your practice and help you optimize your technique. Many people find it motivating to see objective evidence of their nervous system becoming more flexible and resilient over time. Wearable devices that track HRV can help you understand which variations of the protocol work best for your individual nervous system. The community and support aspects of learning the vagus nerve reset can be particularly valuable for people whose anxiety has led to isolation. Sharing experiences with others who are practicing vagal activation techniques can provide encouragement, troubleshooting support, and the social connection that naturally supports nervous system health. Online communities, local support groups, or working with practitioners who understand vagal approaches can provide the guidance and encouragement needed to establish consistent practice. Having support during the learning process can make the difference between giving up after initial challenges and persisting long enough to experience the profound benefits of improved vagal function. The economic implications of effective anxiety treatment are significant, as anxiety disorders cost billions of dollars annually in healthcare expenses, lost productivity, and reduced quality of life. The vagus nerve reset offers a low-cost, accessible intervention that people can learn and practice independently, potentially reducing long-term healthcare costs while improving outcomes. The accessibility of these techniques is particularly important for addressing health disparities in mental health treatment. Unlike many therapeutic interventions that require ongoing professional support, the vagus nerve reset can be learned relatively quickly and practiced independently, making effective anxiety treatment available to people, regardless of their economic circumstances or access to mental health services. The empowerment that comes from learning to directly influence your nervous system state cannot be overstated. When you discover that you have a reliable, immediate tool for anxiety relief, your entire relationship with anxiety changes. Instead of feeling helpless and at the mercy of your symptoms, you develop confidence in your ability to regulate your own nervous system state. This sense of agency and self-efficacy often reduces anticipatory anxiety, the fear of having anxiety, which can be as debilitating as the anxiety itself. When you know you can effectively manage anxiety symptoms as they arise, you naturally worry less about the possibility of becoming anxious, creating positive cycles of reduced overall anxiety. Your vagus nerve represents the most sophisticated anti-anxiety system ever created, and it's been with you since birth, waiting for you to learn how to access its remarkable capabilities. The vagus nerve reset isn't just another technique to add to your anxiety management toolkit. It's the master key that unlocks your nervous system's natural capacity for calm, resilience, and well-being. If you have anxiety, you absolutely must learn this approach because it addresses the root physiological cause rather than just managing symptoms. This isn't about coping with anxiety for the rest of your life. This is about potentially resolving an underlying nervous system dysfunction that creates anxiety in the first place. Your journey from anxiety to authentic calm and confidence begins with understanding that you already carry within your own body everything you need to feel peaceful, grounded, and genuinely at ease in your own life.